advice. Fantasy dreams ain't always nice. Crunching numbers late at night, seeking that glory shining bright. Touchdowns, fantasies on their mind. Draft day heroes hard to find. In the trenches week by week, every matchup fierce and sleek. That damn fantasy show, where the created our dreams get sown. Passion, fire, blood, and bone, chasing titles, claim the throne.
Welcome to That Damn Fantasy Show. I'm Paul Catalina alongside Steve May. Very important show tonight. The future of our country hangs in the balance on the news that we give you.
Yes.
So,
yep. There's nothing else going on.
Nothing else going on. College Football Playoff Committee, that all comes out tonight. So, Steve, I went 2-1 last week. Got nicked last night because of Patrick Mahomes. But still, I feel confident about where that particular team is. Mm-hmm. In the league I do with my friends, I'm on a 5-game winning streak. I've been trying to make a trade for I've been able to kind of piece it together with a bunch of number 2 wide receivers because the number 1 wide receiver I drafted, DJ Moore, has just not been that. Yeah. I'm not going to get rid of him. It might be a longer play, but right now he's not going to be in my lineup. I've got to do it with Zay Flowers, DeAndre Hopkins, Josh Downs, people like that, which is fine week to week, but I need a stud. I have a surplus of a couple other things that might be valuable, especially down the stretch. The NFL trade deadline is today. Mm-hmm. My fantasy trade deadline is as late as you can make it and be reasonable.
Yeah, I usually push mine to the third week in November.
Yeah, it's just, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
There's, you can have a roster that's stacked up. So I'm still the advocate. I've not been able to make a trade yet. I thought about let's try to make a trade on the air, but I looked at both of our teams.
There's
nothing that we can. There's nothing that you and I can do to help each other.
No.
That would be mutually beneficial.
Yeah, I looked.
You would one of us would have to be a total dumbass.
Yeah.
To be I'll take this and this. We'd have to be Jerry Jones.
Yes.
Trading for Jonathan Mingo. Because he liked him in the draft last year. So.
Yeah.
So,
don't go pick up Jonathan Mingo.
No, do not pick up
There's
Jonathan
my advice
Mingo.
for the week.
So, and in our league, I've turned it around.
Yep.
I'm outside looking in right now, but we still have some time.
Yeah.
I still have some time. McCaffrey's back this week. All of that's good.
Yeah.
I need just one more bye week to pass so I can see my lineup in its full strength.
Yeah.
But I'm happy about where it is.
So we got 5 more regular season weeks. So in our league with the median, that's 10 opportunities for wins or losses combination. So same thing. I'm on the outside looking in, but just 2 games out of that 6th spot, which is that's all you got to get.
Yeah.
At this point. So it's going to be competitive. I had a good week. Won in all my main leagues except Scott Fish. I've been dropping off a little bit there. So if I'm going to advance, it's going to have to be as a wild card based on my points. I'm not going to get there on wins. So I still feel good about that. I've had some good point totals. But overall, a good week. I'm going to throw out my what the hell right off the bat here. Cole Kmet, a goose egg. He's almost, if you have another tight end option, he's almost droppable at this point. He had 2 great weeks. Everybody got excited, and now they're just crapping the bed big time.
Yeah. I think they're going to have a new coaching staff.
Yeah.
But because they've got too much going on for them not to really be showing week to week what they can do. They're just going to have weeks where they flash and then weeks where they don't. But I'll tell you this: pickup of the year in one of my other leagues, Cade Otton.
Yeah.
And I got him as a bye week replacement, and Jake Ferguson was hurt. I picked up Cade Otton. He was just kind of sitting there. Mm-hmm. And then all of the Bucs wide receivers got hurt. And Baker Mayfield loves him anyway. So,
and that is the only reason he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah. And here's the thing. There's no end in sight.
No.
I mean, this is how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Even when Mike Evans comes back, he's probably the number 2 target just because, like, it'll be established at that point that this is what the offense is.
Yeah, he's exploded, and then Mike Gesicki with Cincinnati is just out of nowhere. Just Burrow has fallen in love with him, with T. Higgins being out, kind of similar situation. So good stuff for the tight ends.
Mike Gesicki might actually get another year in a place.
Yeah.
He's always had this. He's just never been with the right quarterback.
He always rents. He doesn't buy a house wherever he's at.
But he's always had this ability to be like this really good receiver.
They loved him in Miami.
But then, he left before all that. So, and then he left and he went to the Patriots. They signed 7 tight ends that year and it just wasn't viable. All right, let's get into it. Our thing today, that's from last week. Oops. Dak Prescott out for weeks. Let me translate this for you. Dak Prescott's probably not going to take another snap this year.
Yeah, I agree with that. Looking at it now, even against the Giants and the Panthers, I had him for 2 wins the rest of the year. I'm not even convinced about those 2 wins anymore. So I could really see them losing out and playing for a draft pick next year. So, yeah, I would cut Dak if you have some other options.
Here's the thing. My choice for them, based on where they normally finish in the draft, would be to draft Ashton Genty, which they can do now if they stay where they're at draft-wise. They stay in this track. If they keep losing, they can actually draft my number 1, the person I would love for them to have, which would be Travis Hunter. But, we'll see. I've got a list of Tedder Million, Luther Burden, Ashton Genty. I think they'll be better in the offensive line next year. I think they'll be better on offense next year because they're probably going to hire somebody who's going to infuse some. Yeah,
there'll be a new coach. There'll be a new offense coordinator. I saw something floated today, bringing in Cliff Kingsbury. I don't know if I like that or not.
No, Dak can't run anymore, so that's not really Kingsbury's offense. Yeah. I would think it's if I were the Cowboys, given the talent that they have, I would get someone from the Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Mike McDaniel kind of style of coach.
Yeah.
They'll get none of those 3 guys. None of them. Maybe McDaniel could be convinced, but even then I don't think so. But that's who, the kind of style they need to play and get that. So Dak out for weeks, which I think is the season. Because say he's out for at least 4 weeks, he's going to put him on IR. After those 4 weeks, I think it'll be longer because it's a hamstring. If they've lost all 4 games and they're kind of on the outside looking in, there's no reason to bring him back. There's no reason to do any of that. I think they'll have a hard time keeping Micah Parsons off the field, but I think they'll slow roll him even coming back even more than they already have, which I think that injury is worse than they're all letting on, which is the Cowboy thing to do. Next up, DK Metcalf back after the bye and not traded today. There was a chance he was going to get traded, which actually I would think that if he could get traded at the deadline, he might get traded in the offseason. So watch out for that in the offseason.
I kind of thought they might move Tyler Lockett.
Yeah.
More so than him, but because Jackson Smith
in Jigba
is doing well. So
yeah. But that's not going to happen, and I don't think they should trade him either because he's a beast. CMC is back. I just wanted to put that in here. He is back. His window's open. They weren't going to open the window until he could actually play. So it looks like he will play this week. So
I have him on one of my main league teams. So I'm excited to see him back.
I've already put him in the lineup. All right. And let's get to Steve's Stardom and Sit-em.
All right.
I need to get a little jingle for Garrett to play for this.
I can have AI make another one.
I don't think we need to do that. All right, here you go.
Desperation play if your main quarterback is on a bye week.
Well, my second quarterback in our league is on a bye week, Jameis Winston. And Daniel Jones is my third. So
yeah, the byes this week are Cleveland, Green Bay, Vegas, and Seattle. So He's been putting up numbers. They may not be winning, but he's putting up numbers. So, again, I have a good feeling about it. So, desperation play. Grab him. I love this man now because in one league last night, I was playing Darren. We're in this other league together. I was down by 25 points, and I only had him, and I ended up winning by 2 points. He caught that second touchdown, and I was like, oh, my gosh. I mean, I had the projection was like I had like a 3% chance to win going into last night. So he's clearly comfortable with Mahomes, vice versa. I know the Broncos' defense is okay, but they gave up 41 points to Baltimore this past week. So I love this moving forward. He's the number one.
Yep, absolutely. And look, Kirky had a good week. Last week against the Cowboys. So does everybody. Bijan had a great week against the Cowboys. You have Kirk Cousins and Darnell Mooney.
Mooney together. They're playing New Orleans. New Orleans just fired their coach, interim guy. And there sometimes I can give a team a little bit of a boost, but I think New Orleans
They just traded Marshawn Lattimore, who would be covering Darnell Mooney.
So,
Drake London is day-to-day with a hip injury. I think he'll wind up playing, but I do think that Mooney's going to be the one you got to watch this week.
Definitely Mooney. I would pick up Ray McLeod just as a backup, but New Orleans is in bad shape right now. So,
all right. This is one you said to sit last week, so I did. Wound up not costing me. I'm starting him. Here's an interesting thing for me. So here are my
How many points did he get last week?
He got me enough. Although he was on the bench, but Tyrone Tracy is about the same. Tyrone Tracy. Maybe he had more than Tyrone Tracy, but so I've got Tyrone Tracy and Tony Pollard, and I have James Cook and Bijan. I can only play 3 of them.
I think Tyrone Tracy is a starter every week.
Okay.
He's the number one guy, and he's putting up double digits, close to 20 points every week. You got to start Bijan. And then who'd you say, Pollard, and who else?
James Cook.
See, Cook, I think, has dropped a little bit.
Well, Ray Davis
is
we'll
doing
talk
well.
about him later,
I would probably still lean towards Cook and bench Pollard, but I do like Pollard's matchup this week against the Chargers. So,
well, maybe I can include him in a trade.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I think that's the last. Okay.
Yeah, I think the Jets are about to get into a pretty good groove here.
Actually, they're not great on the offensive line.
No.
But their only problem is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And he still has a little bit left, but let's not pretend. But
I think this last game against Houston, we saw the benefit for Garrett Wilson having Devontae Adams out there and vice versa. So I think Adams is a good matchup against the Cardinals, whose defense isn't very good.
Yeah, and look, Garrett Wilson's a start too.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw what he did last week. All right, sit all Cowboys.
Yeah. I mean, CD might play this week, but even if he does, man, if you got another option, Cooper Rush is okay. He'll throw it. He's not afraid to throw it. And CD will probably be his security blanket, him and Ferguson. But, oh, my gosh. Rico Dowdle would be a fringe play. He did look okay this past week. If you're desperate.
If you're desperate.
Yes.
They're not good.
No.
He's not good.
I know that. But
the Cowboys have just a guy at running back. No matter who it is. Actually, you know who should be their starting running back? Legitimately. Hunter Lipke.
I'm not a big fan of his.
I'm a huge fan of his. He could be Mike Allstott for that. But they're not running the right offense for that. But I'm a big fan of Hunter Lipke. I like what he can do. But he's the best running back they have right now.
Maybe so. But there are 4 teams on a bye week. If you just got to play one, play who you got to play. But if you have options, they're playing Philly. Philly, I think, is in a groove right now. So, yeah, it's a dumpster fire.
Play all the Eagles. Start all the Eagles that you can against the Cowboys.
Saquon could have 200 yards.
Yeah. Sit all the Jaguars.
I think I put Jaguar running backs, but it could be all of them. At this point, but mainly the running backs. They're beat up.
Okay.
ETN, Bigsby, Johnson.
Yeah.
So And it's just not it's not a great matchup. Who are they playing? They're playing Minnesota defense, which is good against the run. So, yeah, again, kind of same thing with the Cowboys. If you have to, you have to. But
Brian Thomas is fine. But,
yeah.
You know,
But they're going. If it plays out like it should, they're going to get behind against Minnesota.
Yeah.
So they're going to be throwing it a
Yeah.
lot. So. Caleb Williams, he's in a slump. There was a couple weeks there where I was starting him. He was doing great. But I think it goes back to the coaching staff who we just referenced. And it's not a great matchup. Who are they playing? They're playing New England. New England's defense is okay. But something's going on there. He's not feeling comfortable again. DJ Moore, you mentioned. Cole Kmet has become Mr. Invisible. So if you have a better option, go that route.
And that's Steve's Stardom Sit-em.
Yep.
And we're going to get this brings us to a new segment that we're going to say we're going to add and drop. So I put some of these together. So I'm going to say add Ray Davis right now. If you can add Ray Davis, do it. He's got big play potential. They love using the running backs in the offense now.
Yeah.
You know, in Buffalo, it's been a great thing for James Cook for most of the season. Cook was out. Davis has had some good games. Now they can play the hot hand. Look, if Frank Gore Jr. gets back in there, like I have a feeling that they're really good on offense now. Yeah. They're consistent. Amari Cooper, even though he's banged up. That's the other thing is that they might have to, Keon Coleman's questionable. Amari Cooper's questionable. So Bills running backs might be in good supply this week. But, all right, so next up, add Ricky Pearsall. This is the only GIF I could find of him, but I would go ahead and add him.
I think Juwan Jennings will be back this week.
But they're going to have constant, in and out of the line.
Yeah.
Like, Debo's banged up again, so, just especially if you're a deeper league, add Ricky Pearsall. Eventually they're going to have to go to him. The 49ers are kind of an average team right now.
Yeah, they are.
Now, look, with CMC coming back too, who knows? But that's good news for them. But they are a bit of an average team, and we'll see, how things shake out. It kills me that I had to use.
I was about
this.
to say I can't believe you put a Florida Gator.
It kills me.
Yep.
It kills Garrett. Garrett hates him too. He's an LSU fan.
Absolutely hate Florida.
Yeah, but we did have some respect for Ricky Pearsall because dude had the best hands in the country last year. All right. Also add Drake May. He's on the come up. He's starting to kind of connect with these receivers.
Yep.
I'm not surprised about this. I'm surprised maybe it happened a little earlier than it is. I'm surprised they didn't trade some of their more veteran wide receivers, but maybe they're just saying well, what good does it do to trade guys that can be maybe reliable, like a Kendrick Bourne or a KJ Osborne, even though we're not really using them all that much, but for his development. Right?
Well, and what his development and starting to do better has also done, it's helped Ramondre Stevenson. He's had 2 great weeks back to back where there for a while he was borderline droppable in a lot of leagues.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't doing jack, but now
they're throwing the ball in the backfield too. So all right. Add Xavier Legette.
Yeah. Bryce Young's looking okay. That's sitting on the bench, watching, learning, which is probably what he should have done
Sometimes,
to begin with.
Calming down.
Yes.
I like Jalen Coker's been good. He's a rookie. Xavier Legette's a rookie.
Yep.
Jatavian Sanders is a rookie. They're going to be very young.
Yeah.
But Dave Canales is a good offensive mind. If his moron owner stays out of his way, he might be able to do something. And I know teams called about Bryce Young just like they did about Anthony Richardson. Maybe Anthony Richardson has the same thing. I think he's destined to be the next Taysom Hill, personally.
Yeah.
Because I think that's where his lot in life needs to be.
Well, and
Legette's he was really good at South Carolina last year.
Yeah, he's good. Thielen should be coming back from the IR. They just traded their superstar receiver, Mingo, to the Cowboys. And
okay, if you want to know how bad things were for Carolina, they went and got Deontay Johnson in the offseason.
Yep.
They decided to go ahead and trade him to the Ravens. All right, so they did that. They drafted Mingo in the second round last year and already determined this year, after they drafted another guy in the second round and Jalen Coker in the 5th, I think, that Mingo wasn't their best one. And the Cowboys are like, have a 4th round pick for him. That's how bad the Cowboys are at trading. I don't mind getting Mingo, who's got a lot of potential, control the years for a couple, second-round draft pick, that kind of a thing. Giving a fourth-round pickup for him is just stupid.
Kansas City got Hopkins for a fifth round.
Yes, when you could have clearly got him for a seventh.
Yeah.
This is like they called him like, hey, fourth round, and the Panthers are like, yeah, all right, sure thing.
The Cowboys have to be the first call most teams make.
They don't trade that often.
No, but just float something ridiculous out there and see if because they probably heard that the Cowboys liked Mingo, coming out. And,
well, he was a 30 visit.
Yeah.
They get those 30 visits. He was one of them.
Yeah.
And so eventually all those guys who are on the 30 visits will play for the Cowboys, no matter how old or ineffective they are.
It's enough Panthers on
Yeah,
the
all right. Add Cooper Rush. According to Steve, not to me, but you say only in desperation. I say not even maybe at that point.
The caveat there being for a super flex.
Yeah.
If he's a starter, they're going to throw it at least for a couple weeks. They're going to, I think, keep trying to win. I would personally throw Trey Lance out there. Just see, you gave up a fourth for him. Let's see, run some different plays for him, or have a package for Trey Lance. I don't think they're going to do that. But Rush was 5-1 as a starter.
That team was a lot better.
Yeah. But it's still, the Cowboy schedule is tough.
Tyron Smith was still on that team.
I guarantee you, in just about every league, somebody will grab Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
Just to have some depth there. Yeah. So.
All right, now it's time to drop people.
Yep.
And I would feel comfortable saying drop Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's going to play again this year.
Yeah.
I really don't. I really, really don't. If he's out weeks with this injury and they won't even, the Cowboys won't even give you the 4 to 6 weeks thing, which is what they normally do.
Here's where I would see some value in Dak moving forward, only if you're in a dynasty league.
Yeah, and you have an IR spot.
Well.
Or not.
If someone has Dak, maybe offer them your 6th or 7th round pick next year. See if someone bites on it.
Yeah.
If you have Dak, see if you can get a trade for him. Because he is going to be the Cowboys quarterback.
Yeah.
Because he signed that deal.
And look, he just came off a year ago. He was near MVP level.
Yeah.
This is not.
Yeah.
Look, Dak doesn't not bear any responsibility in this. He hasn't played well either, but the Cowboys have done a really crap job of putting him in positions to win.
Yeah.
They've done that all the way around.
So vanilla.
The offense is very vanilla. Everybody's figured it out. McCarthy's on his way out the door. They did nothing to help him improve in the offseason. The only thing they've really helped him offensively was theoretically, just to say Mingo's a good player. Let's say Mingo is actually a good player right now in his career. They did that after the mofo got hurt. So they've not even helped him immediately. So it doesn't make sense.
Going back to Cooper Rush real quick, for DFS purposes this week, he's going to be dirt cheap.
Yeah.
So he'd be a sneaky play to plug into your QB spot, and then you can build up around it. So.
Yeah. All right. Also dropped Zach Moss.
IR season ending. He was on his way down anyway, so that's a no-brainer.
But yes,
they just traded for
Khalil Herbert is their backup. Chase Brown, who's really good.
Yeah, he's doing great.
He's really good.
Yep.
Perfect for that offense. Yep. So Zach Moss was a placeholder anyway. By the way, I've found a couple of really high-res gifts today. I don't know if you know the Drake May. Oh, that's from Madden?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, no wonder.
That's clearly a video game, Paul.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, drop Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah, they were high on him. He's slowly worked his way down as an option for Jordan Love. So Christian Watson's back up.
Too, so but really the only receiver that's a for sure play for the Packers every week is Jaden Reed.
Yeah.
Everybody else you can kind of pick and choose your matchup. Tucker Kraft, not a bad one, and he's a pretty steady tight end. He's a 10-point a week tight end, which to me is fine. Yeah. That's what you can do. It's better than Cole Kmet right now.
Like a scenario, if I had him and on waivers Thielen was out there, I would drop him and pick up Thielen.
Yeah.
Just because the upside, the ceiling on that move would be a lot more than what you're going to get from him.
All right. Also dropped Tyler Conklin.
Yeah. Just with Adams there now, I don't think Rodgers ever felt comfortable here. So just there's better tight end options now that are doing well. I picked up Mark Andrews on waivers. Someone had dropped him because they were frustrated. Now he is clearly back to being the number one tight end there. So.
All right, and I think that might do it.
Was that it?
Yeah, I think that's it. There we go.
Awesome.
That's the end of that. So we're gonna drop. That's. I didn't put a screen bug in there after that. But anyway, so Steve, DFS this week. Who are some of the cheaper guys? Like you've helped me out quite a bit actually. Sometimes to your financial detriment by pointing these things out. Yeah, I don't think I was in this week.
No, we only had 9 get in.
Yeah, I guess I missed it.
I win the week when there's the least amount of money. But yeah, Cooper Rush will be a cheap option this week. I'm going to use him some in some because there's some contests where you can throw in like 20 lineups. So I'll do that. I'll build some around him. Daniel Jones is still fairly cheap. So again, always look for games that are high over-unders. So on the Sunday slate, the game that has the highest over-under is 49ers at Tampa. 51.5. So, with McCaffrey being back, that should be a pretty high-scoring game. Detroit at Houston.
Okay.
C.J. Stroud is someone we could have put up there. You're not going to cut him.
Yeah.
But, man, he has not been doing well. I think we talked about him last week.
Well, see, here's my predicament. I have him and Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
So I was happy about that.
I have that on a roster, too.
Yeah. So
I would lean towards Stroud. This could be Detroit is the best team, I think, right now in the whole NFL. Like, if they were to play Kansas City, I would pick Detroit to beat them on a neutral site. So Detroit's going to get ahead. Houston's going to be throwing. So throw in some of those, maybe a Houston receiver into your DFS, whoever that may be.
Yeah.
But that over-under is 49.5. The game with the lowest over-under is Tennessee at the Chargers. 37.5.
Yeah. I don't. One day Justin Herbert's going to have the year that we all expect him to.
Yeah.
It's not his fault.
No.
Like, none of this is his fault.
Yeah.
It's just a failing on the Chargers' part. I was like, oh, poor Justin Herbert.
I did have someone ask me about DFS and mainly talking about DraftKings here. I do play some on FanDuel, but someone asked me how, like, what's my order of building my roster? So I will almost always start with defense. And I'll scroll all the way to the bottom and start working my way up and find a cheap defense that isn't going to totally just shit the bed.
Yeah.
You know, and plug that in there for 2,600, 2,800. You know, just about every team's going to get a couple sacks. You may get a turnover. What you don't want is what Denver did this past week and give up 41 points.
Yeah.
That's rare. So I'll usually do that, and then I usually then go to tight end and kind of do the same thing. Kind of not go all the way to the bottom, but down.
I pick a tight end in the middle.
Yeah.
I pick one in the middle. I find the one in the middle with the best matchup against the worst defense that's terrible in the red zone.
So Cade Otton has been a great value. He won't be anymore.
No.
He's going to be up there. So I get those two spots set. Then I start building
that's
the
exactly
rest.
what I do.
Yeah.
The defense, my rule is you're not going to get blown out.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't I'm not going to pay $4,000 for the top defense.
No.
I'm going to pay about $2,500, if not less, for a defense that's playing a crap team.
Yeah.
For example, like the Giants defense versus Carolina, I don't think is going to give up 50 points.
Right.
That's all I'm looking for in my defense. In my tight end, occasionally, I'll go through all that other stuff and I'll maybe I can go get Travis Kelce or someone like that this week. But that's rare. That's very rare. Usually I'm in the Cade Otton, Jake Ferguson, Cole Kmet business, Tucker Kraft. that's where I live with my tight ends. Isaiah Likely, like that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Same.
that's where I live. And then, fill in the other stuff as you will. That's going to do it for that damn fantasy show. We did not, what we forgot to do this week? We forgot to do our lineup video. So I did not get any, nobody sent me any.
Oh, okay.
So we will do some lineup videos again next week. That's severely lacking. Sorry about that. I forgot to solicit those this week, but we will do that again next week. If you have one, just tweet at us at Syntex Commissioner at Paul Catalina. I'll send you a link to send the video to, and we'll get that done. So, or you can text it to 254-339-1122. You can do that as well. That's going to do it for us. Have a great fantasy weekend, everybody.